In this video, we're going to be learning how to write electron configurations. Electron configurations tend to be uniformed for larger atoms, as their electron configuration for the first shells are the same for every atom, and so there is a pattern to be learned from electron configurations to help make it easier to write. So one thing to note about electron configurations is that you write it in terms of the amount of shells an atom has. So there's 1 through 7 shells, 1 being the smallest, closest to the nucleus, and the 7th being the largest and farthest away. And then there's different orbitals in a shell. So it goes S, P, D, and F. And it goes in this order because it's increasing in size. So one good thing to know when writing electron configurations is that it will always start in the S for a shell and then go to an F in the shell. But the only shells that have F orbital electrons is in the 4th and 5th shell. And those have to do with the row that's not in the periodic table that most times is cut out. So the first question asks to write the electron configuration for magnesium. Magnesium has an atomic number 12. It's located in the second column of the periodic table, and in the periodic table below that, it is in the 3s shell. So it's in the 3rd shell in the s orbital. So when starting to write electron configurations, you're going to start at the lowest shell, so the shell closest to the nucleus. This would be this 1s shell. And to start writing that, you're going to look at the number of electrons in this 1s shell. Since there's magnesium's in the 3s shell, and there's 2 electrons in the 1s shell, one being helium and one being hydrogen, you're going to start by writing this as 1s2, because both of those electrons are filled by magnesium. Then next, you're just going up a number, so this 2s2 row. And since magnesium fills both these electrons, you're writing this as 2s2. So that 2 shows the number of electrons filled, and you know that you've gone beyond the 1 shell to the 2 shell. Now, what's nice about electron configurations is you read left to right. So after the 2s, you're going to look all the way across the periodic table to this 2p row. And that will be the next thing you write. And since magnesium again is in the 3 shell, you know that the whole 2 shell is filled, even the p orbital. So this would be 2p6, since all electrons are filled in the p orbital. And another thing that's good to know is that if the s orbital is filled, it will always be 2 electrons. If the p orbital is filled, it will always be 6 electrons. If this d orbital is filled, it will always be 10 electrons. And if the f orbital is filled, it will always be 14. So next, magnesium fills this 3s row. But the one thing about magnesium is that it stops after that 3s orbital. It does not go beyond the 3p. It only fills those 2 electrons. So you finish writing that as 3s2. And you stop there because magnesium doesn't go beyond that.